Medieval times were very exciting. Da Vinci drew his masterpieces. Gunpowder and the compass were invented, and the Black Death killed a third of the European population. But what made all this possible? Of course, the Middle Ages really was a period where cultures around the globe flourished. But if you thought this video would be about boring medieval culture, you would be wrong. Speaking of war, we have to look no further than the Balkans. Full of landmines and good food, the Balkan Peninsula has been filled with corruption, greed, and xenophobia since the Middle Ages. Has it always been like this? The answer is no. Well, not in around 5 centuries. The Byzantine Empire, centered in Constantinople, current-day Istanbul, carried on the Roman Empire for an entire millennium. They control huge swaths of Europe throughout most of its existence. Obviously, they didn't handle a multicultural society just through progressivism and diplomacy, but through good old-fashioned barbaric war. One of their inventive methods to painfully kill their enemies was Greek fire. You know those oil spills that kill a ton of marine life? Well, imagine replacing the oil tanker with the Byzantine Empire and the marine life with people and set the oil on fire. And there you have it, Greek fire. Basically, the Byzantines poured a combination of quicklime and other complicated chemicals into the sea, lit it on fire, and turned those wooden ships into burning, floating prisons. Sick! Till this day, no one knows exactly how they made the floating fire. The Britain we know has the Premier League, great food, and idiosyncratic accents. However, this wacky archipelago hides a gruesome history. Britain in medieval times was terrible, terribly diabolical. This English king, King Edward I, was exactly that. He was sieging a Scottish castle with his troops, and he just wasn't penetrating the walls. His siege weapon was the trebuchet, a 20-meter-tall French invention that did the mechanical equivalent of slinging a rock at someone. Unfortunately for him, it just wasn't working out. His ingenious solution baffles researchers and inspires 14-year-olds to this day. He made a 100-meter-tall trebuchet. When the Scots saw the wooden Deathbringer, they immediately surrendered. However, the insane king didn't want his trebuchet to go to waste, so he denied the surrender and used the trebuchet on the castle anyway. Medieval times were cool. Cool in the way that you had a pretty high chance of getting hypothermia at 13, and then dying of cholera. However, a certain intrigue exists in being disemboweled by a huge rock flung by a gigantic trebuchet.